Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. We are back again this Sunday morning. Lots of stories to dive into, lots of Arsenal stuff, especially transfers. To dive into, especially the fact that Juve, and we'll be discussing this because Juve have emerged as winners. They've beaten us again, a space of around 4 months. They've beaten us to two brilliant transfers, that of Manuel Locatelli and now Dusan Blahovic. That is confirmed as well. So it looks like Arsenal are losing to Juventus in that transfer race again. But I think the also important thing in this video is the fact that Arsenal are strongly now pushing to sign alternatives, and of course, Luka Jovic is believed to be the man on top of that list in terms of being a doable deal, and also in terms of Arsenal trying to close down on time and try to bring in someone because really time is running down. So look, it looks like Jovic is going to be one of those names that we hear in the last 4 or 5 days of the window. But also the Athletic have actually come out and given us a couple of updates around our midfield situation, Ruben Neves, and why Arsenal are really not going for him this January, why Arsenal consider Douglas Luiz and of course the likes of Bruno Guimaraes as very difficult deals to do in January, but they are not giving up, and those are considerations for the summer. So we're going to be discussing all that in this video. Do me a favor, hit the like button. I know, due to the Vlahovic thing, you people are really disappointed and disgusted, with Arsenal, but it was always worth a try. Yes, we put in a lot of time, but trust me, it is one that was really worth a try. Every club would have loved to try and go for Dusan Blahovic. We tried and failed. Right. So hit the like button. Melbet reminds you that if you want to bet with them, if you want to earn some extra money, AFCON is going on. We do have a couple of World Cup qualifiers as we prepare for November. A couple of series of those previews will be on 99 Sports. So make sure you do join me then when we start previewing the World Cup, because it will be very intense. But World Cup qualifiers are coming up. We won't have league football 16th of February, so that means we're gonna be working slowly with all these kind of games, international friendlies, World Cup qualifiers, things like that. And that's the mood. So if you want to earn some little money, I mean, there is no easier money to win than money in international friendlies. Germany, Comoros, and Germany winning that 10-0. You could just you could easily predict that. So bet with Melbet, sign up with them, register with them, bet responsibly. Do not take what you can't afford to lose. Right. So let's get into it. Very I think very slowly, should I say, because it's not the best positive episode to put out on at the beginning of the week. Now this is SR Collins. He's come out and said Arsenal are working hard to bring in players, but at present, New England Revolution goalkeeper Matt Turner is the farthest along of any possible deal. So of course that is an update around the goalkeeper that we are trying to sign. And according to SR Collins, one of those really reliable sources, is saying that Arsenal at the moment are really trying. We are really trying to do anything we can to bring in new signings, to bring in new players. But at the moment, it doesn't look as close as it was first reported by Fabrizio Romano on the situation around Matt Turner. And I think, with a new goalkeeper and Matt Turner, we all know, I've told you personal terms, the problem have been agreed. A fee between the two clubs is also believed to be not a big problem, because, it seems it's going to be around 6 to 10 million euros. I think for a backup goalkeeper, that is fine. That is absolutely fine. But it will depend on whether Ban Leno leaves in January or he doesn't. Leno at the moment, yes, he's looking at a couple of options, available to him. He's looking at Dortmund. They've put in some interest. They've displayed their interest, not really any official bid or contact, but they've displayed their interest. Newcastle as well. And Leno is really now not sure whether to move in January or to move in the summer. But as soon as Leno leaves, I think then Matt Turner's transfer will be done, and we'll get it off the line. At the moment, it is still not happening, really, because Leno is still around. So there is no reason why Arsenal need to push to get a third goalkeeper, actually fourth goalkeeper, because you have Arthur Okonkwo as your third goalkeeper. So there is no reason to get in Matt Turner at the moment. I think Matt Turner will be joining Arsenal only if Leno decides to leave in this remaining 5-6 days of the transfer window. So it looks like with all the talk around, Arsenal are trying to bring in new signings, and we are working hard to bring in new signings. So yesterday, news broke out, according to Romano, according to all sources, DiMarzio. News broke out that Arsenal have lost the race to sign Dusan Vlahovic. That is, really true and confirmed. We lost that race to sign Dusan Vlahovic, and we lost it to a club that has been really very, very good, in my opinion, in terms of playing that kind of waiting game. And just waiting, watching the space, trying to see, and it's very, very, it's been very intelligent from Juve, because literally what they've done, they sat back, waited for negotiations between Arsenal and Fiorentina, and watching the space, and then they just knew Fiorentina are desperate. They need the player to to leave. They need to sell the player, and the player doesn't want any move to Tottenham or to Arsenal, because those were the two clubs, big clubs that were available at the moment. Barca wanted him, but because we know the financial situation with Barcelona, and according to reports from Nicolo Schira and Fabrizio and Sky Italia, Barcelona would be moving for Alvaro Morata, which I think is not a very, very good signing, by the way, for me. But they'll be moving for Alvaro Morata, because it's the kind of deal that makes more sense financially. It's going to be a loan deal. All they need to do is to sort out how they can pay his wages. Probably they are still hopeful that Dembele will leave. So Dusan Vlahovic yesterday confirmed Juve will be the club that signed him. 2 hours ago, Sky Sport put out this tweet, and they've said Juventus are in talks to sign Fiorentina striker Dusan Vlahovic, with the subs agents not considering offers from Arsenal and Tottenham, according to Sky Italia. So that was the predicament. That means we have not been wrong. It's been one transfer. One transfer there where we wasted a lot of time, by the way, as Arsenal. Was it worth it? Yes, I think it was worth it, but it would have been even better if it was worth it and we got the player. But we really can't say, yeah, it was worth it, and we didn't get the player. But I think it is what happens when you want players at a top level. It's not that easy. Remember Manchester United? I was watching the Arsenal way today in the morning, and they put up a very, very interesting point. They said United signed Jadon Sancho for 2 years. They spent 2 windows trying to sign Jadon Sancho, and finally they got him. At times it happens. Maybe not because we are Arsenal, but these deals are not that easy. You remember in that last summer Bat one, United going in there trying to sign Jadon Sancho, and Dortmund really proved very, very, very problematic. They say they were demanding around 130 million euros, and then last summer, interestingly, they sold him for less than 90 million euros. So it's that difficult at times. These top players are top targets, and that is the waters that Arsenal have entered. We've entered those waters where you're going to be fighting for the signature of top players with big clubs like Juve. We've lost twice to Juve because they're more attractive. They are in Europe, and look, forget all the stick that Vlahovic is getting and his agent. Juve are still way better a club than Arsenal at the moment. If you look at, yes, this season, they have really, really struggled. But if you look at the last 5 years and how dominant they've been in the Italian Serie A, they just like Bayern. Any player in the in the German Bundesliga, they will fall in love with Bayern. Any player in the Italian Serie A, they will fall in love with Juve because they have they have a manager that has like that kind of pedigree. They have a squad that is really decent. The likes of Chiesa in there, likes of Dybala, Rabiot. They just have the kind of squad that is really convincing. That if it comes to winning, if it's come to if at all, it comes to any point in giving you something you need in terms of your career, then Juve can be. So finally, he will be moving to Juve. Good deal for me for Juve. Very, very good one. Morata has been a problem for Federico Chiesa is going to be out for some time. It was one that they really needed. I mean, let's be honest. It was one deal that Juve really needed, and seeing that they can actually get it over the line is really brilliant. So that is confirmed. Juve will be bidding around the same amount of money the Arsenal are placing in for the player, and it also looks like the players' fees and and agent fees are also going to be made around 80 million euros for the agent. Is what us is what you are going to pay. I think we tried to pay that. We were never a priority. That is what happened in this deal. So for the last time, Dusan Vlahovic will not be joining Arsenal. Will be joining. You'll be joining Juventus probably on 99 Sport. We'll try to talk about him more and the move to Juventus, giants in Italy. But here on Cossy's Arsenal podcast, it's the last time I will be speaking about him, unless in 3 years' time or in 2 years' time, Arsenal try to re-sign him, maybe. But for now, that is it. So Arsenal moved on to a couple of alternatives, like I reported yesterday in the evening or in the night. Arsenal moved on to a couple of alternatives now, trying to get those you would call them backups. Are they kind of backups? And the most pressing one is Luka Jovic. I think, again, coming in from Serbia, Real Madrid are 100% convinced they can let him go in January. A loan deal for 6 months, a 6-month loan deal can do the trick. And I think that is where Arsenal just need to be very, very, I think cunning. I think, we need to grab the opportunity with both hands. We need to get this opportunity with both hands. It's a transfer that we will not get really from other clubs, because in January it's all about loan deals. It's all about players whose contracts are running down. It's all about triggering release clauses. That is what you do in January. Luka Jovic, moving in from Frankfurt to Real Madrid. You think you'd have thought that it was a move for him to shine, and he was lucky to get that kind of move, but it has not really worked out, and he's looking again like he's looking to revive his career. So he's one of those players that are really looking to revive his their career. I think Arsenal need to do this deal because it will cost us nothing. It adds it adds numbers. I think Jovic is better than Edin Nketiah coming off the bench. Of course, Nketiah has been with Arsenal and played in the Premier League, so probably there are more advantages to having Edin Nketiah than having Luka Jovic. But I think in terms of being a top striker, Luka Jovic is a better striker. So if Arsenal can just, get that done, if you could just get that done, it's an easy deal. Talk to Real Madrid. They have already offered the player to us, and we've been interested before. Go for Luka Jovic, 6-month loan deal, probably with an option to buy. I mean, options to buy are as simple as, yes, he's worked out, we will take him. Or things have not really worked out, with the player, we will actually not take him. I think that is how easy, they are. I think that is how easy, options to buy, options to buy are. But for me, Luka Jovic, why it makes much sense. Arsenal are trying to fight for top 4. We're not trying to fight for top 3 or top 2. If we're trying to fight for top 3 or top 2, then a player like Dusan Vlahovic would have been a must. But why I think Luka Jovic is needed at Arsenal, you just need that kind of goal poacher. You need a player, that can, be around, in that box. You just need a player who can be, a fox in the box. And when I think about a fox in the box, I'm really surprised that Arsenal have not tried to sign Julian Alvarez. If you look at the numbers of that lad, I think he will be going to Manchester City now. He's been on a tour with with his agent. Came to Manchester United. Things really never worked out because they never wanted to trigger that 25 million euro, I think £1 million, release clause. Then he went to Inter. He went to Fiorentina. They went to Juve. They've been moving around, and the problem only seems to be 25 million. And he's one of those players that have broken into the European market. Of course, he's had his recent season with River Plate, really performed very, very well, really performed at the top level. And I'm of a thought. Yesterday I talked about Karim Adeyemi, and I said I think Karim Adeyemi would have been a great addition for Arsenal, especially if you look at what we are trying to do, build that kind of young army, build that kind of young that kind of young project. Karim Adeyemi, Julian Alvarez would have been very, very good, great additions. Because at the moment, Alvarez is ready to make a move. He's scored 18 goals last season in 21 appearances for River Plate. He's playing in a very, very substantially lower league as compared to the Premier League. But we've seen players like Gabriel Jesus come from there, from South America, and they've worked out. We've seen Gabriel Martinelli is playing in Arsenal's first team regularly. And I don't know whether Arsenal are looking for something like a brand for a face for our project, like it was reported by Fabrizio Romano. The Arsenal looking for a project face, a player who can be the face of the new project, like Aguero was for Manchester City. But for me, Julian Alvarez would have been a sensible signing. One player that has a very, very big resale value. Like if you signed him in and it doesn't work out, we would actually sell him for 30 million euros to any other club that is interested. And I just feel like Arsenal not even trying to sign Julian Alvarez was a mistake. Going to Manchester City now, for me, it's a deal that doesn't even it adds to them probably, but it would have been more valuable to ask them to get in Julian Alvarez. But Luka Jovic, still in the same line, is a deal that really substantially improves Arsenal. I mean, it's a debate whether when he comes in, he sits on the bench and waits for Alexander Lacazette to come off in the 60th minute, or he starts ahead of Alexander Lacazette. My reasoning would be he starts on the bench and then he comes on in the 60th, 70th minute or 75th minute for the start. But I feel like Arsenal need that kind of goal poacher. We need that kind of striker, that kind of player that's going to take advantage of all those crosses, of all those balls that are thrown into the enemy's penalty area. And that's why I thought about Julian Alvarez, because if you look at the number of times he scored in the out of the penalty area, out of 18 times, he has only scored 5 times out of the penalty area. That means out of the opponent's box. That means he scored. He has scored 13 goals out of 21 appearances inside the box. Another kind of Kun Aguero. But let's see what Arsenal can do with Luka Jovic. If we can get it done, if we can get it over the line, it would be very, very interesting. No talks, no bid as yet confirmed, but one of those alternatives that Arsenal are looking at. And now, seemingly leading that race. Today, news broke out. I've seen it in the morning, but it was kind of late. Mikel Arteta has gone to the USA and he's meeting with Stan Kroenke. Yesterday, they had that kind of meeting. They watched. I mean, I don't even understand, American football, honestly, to be very, very. To be very, very honest with you, there is nothing I understand about American football and things like that. But Arteta meets up with Stan Kroenke. At the moment, he is in USA. After that, then he will be flying directly to join up with the squad. I think they are in the Middle East to just get that kind of refreshing days off as we wait for the Premier League to return. And what is interesting is I think the question there and all the innuendos that around that story is why did he go to meet Stan Kroenke? What exactly is behind their meeting? What is exactly behind Arteta meeting up with Stan Kroenke? A couple of reports reporting that is because of transfers. I don't believe it's because of transfers. It's one gesture that we don't usually see from Stan Kroenke. I mean, meeting the manager. How many times did we see him meeting Arsene Wenger? Not very, very many times. But meeting Mikel Arteta looks like he loves what is going on. It looks like he's slowly getting on board with what Arsenal are trying to do, and maybe you never know. I mean, it's as simple as that. You never know. The Athletic have reported that he's willing to invest and back Mikel Arteta, willing to invest and back the manager. It's one of those very, very interesting parts of football. When your owner says, "I'm going to back you," I'm going to back this team, right? Because for an owner like Stan Kroenke, who's been very, very negative when it comes to backing Arsenal, now he's directly meeting. It's interesting, right? He's directly meeting Mikel Arteta. I don't know whether they're discussing transfers or anything like that. We don't know the motive. We don't know the reason as to why they met. But I can confirm that Mikel Arteta is in the US to meet owner Stan Kroenke. Hopefully, we can get deals done out of that meeting. Now, a string of stories have actually been put out today by the Athletic, and they've been reporting about what would happen with our midfield situation, and especially in the summer, what Arsenal are trying to do in the summer. Story number one, we're going to run through them, and then later in the other shows, I will try to expand on them and do a little bit of analysis. Right. The first story, they've said Calvert-Lewin's personality is seen as a good fit for Arsenal's current squad, and the mooted fee in the region of £60 million has not deterred Arsenal's interest. The problem is Everton's reluctance to sell. The likelihood is that Arsenal would have to return with a bid in the summer. Now, the Athletic have always been very, very vocal when it comes to Arsenal and our interest and our reported, interest in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And they've always said that whenever we've been linked with any striker, they've always, seemed to be, filling in the gaps that Calvert-Lewin is also highly admired at Arsenal. And I think he's a top player. Let's be honest. I think he's a very, very top player. At first, I didn't like him, but the more I've watched him, the more I've tried to read about him, the more I've tried to understand him as a player. Despite the fact that he's one of those players that really feed off aerial prowess. But the more I've seen him, he's a little bit better than Olivier Giroud, and that was my original fear that he might be another Olivier Giroud. And I'm not really 100% convinced that he's not another Olivier Giroud, because, again, Giroud was another very good player who played with his back facing the opponent's goal. He was so good at what you call the hold-up play. He was very, very good with what you call a link-up play. He was so good, very, very good in the air as well. But my problem with Olivier Giroud, everybody knows on this channel, was when it comes to finishing, he was an absolute mess. But the Athletic have said the prospect of joining Arsenal would appeal to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The club are a good fit for his ambitions. Calvert-Lewin is much admired by the coaching staff at Arsenal, who have proved actually influential in the previous recruitment decisions, as per the beautiful people at the Athletic. Right. So, honestly, let me share with you, lads. I think a player like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and this is more like the James Maddison situation. I spoke about it when I was speaking about James Maddison. A player like Dominic Calvert-Lewin Yes, he looks at it. He's looking at a transfer to Arsenal as, in two ways for me. One, as a ceiling, because you don't, in no way, shape, or form, do you want Everton to be your ceiling? No way. It's the same thing with James Maddison. And people ask me, Cossy, why would James Maddison join Arsenal? Because Arsenal is bigger than Leicester. Arsenal is a little bit more ambitious than Leicester. If it goes down on your CV that you scored 10 goals for Arsenal, it is bigger than scoring 50 goals for Everton. With all due respect. So for Calvert-Lewin, for me, it would look at joining Arsenal as one, as way of self-actualization. But not only that, he would also look at joining Arsenal as maybe a step, in his journey to greatness. Because with all due respect to Arsenal fans, we've been that. We've been that. Robin van Persie to Manchester United. Alexis Sanchez to United and then to Inter. We know, they won something while he was there, despite the fact that he wasn't so influential. Samuel Nasri from Marseille to Arsenal to Manchester City. Adebayo from Arsenal to City. Thierry Henry from Juve to Arsenal to Barca. Just Fabregas from Barca to Arsenal to Barca again. It's hurting, I know. So I won't complete the list. But, it could be. And this is how I had viewed that Dusan Vlahovic deal, by the way. I thought if it was Mino Raiola, he would let his agent come at Arsenal and he would strictly tell Arsenal that put a release clause of around 90 million in his contract, because he's not going to be here for all his time. That is what he was trying to do with Erling Haaland and Chelsea until the deal actually failed, right? So with Calvert-Lewin, for me, it's a good opportunity to join Arsenal. Either way, he can come and lead the project and be that kind of player that receives all this kind of attention from the likes of Martinelli, Saka, because he's one player that is a little bit complete. Can fit off his head, can score with his feet, can be that kind of player that just holds the game and gives you that kind of hold up play. He's a good talent. He's a talent, and I'm really changing my mind about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The possibility of him joining Arsenal, for me, I can't see it happen. It's still at a level. Yeah, it's still at that level. I can't see him joining Arsenal, but he would have been a very, very good fit. So the Athletic are reporting that the coaching staff at Arsenal are looking at him, they admire him, and they believe he would be a very, very good fit. And the player sees Arsenal as a club that really fits his ambitions. That's where I would love you guys to get involved in the chat. Do you think Calvert-Lewin is one player that fits Arsenal's ambitions? And do you think Arsenal really fit into the ambitions of Calvert-Lewin? And finally, is it a deal Arsenal can do? Because that is what is important. Is it a deal we can do? Or is it a deal that, it's another wastage of time? Because that is what I don't want. We've wasted time with Dusan Vlahovic trying, which isn't bad, right? We've been trying. It's not really been bad. But we need to do sensible transfers now. So the Athletic, story number one about Calvert-Lewin, very interesting. But that is not all. They've also gone ahead to highlight what Arsenal will be doing in the summer in terms of that midfield situation. Here's what they've written out. Bruno Guimaraes, and particularly, right? I think that's it. Particularly, right? Douglas Luiz are very, very admired at Arsenal. Arteta knows Luiz well during their time at Manchester City. For various reasons, these targets are difficult to acquire in January. However, Arsenal are likely to examine these names more closely in the summer. And, one thing that this story highlights is what our January transfer strategy in terms of a midfielder is. And I've spoken about it. Our strategy was getting a midfielder on loan whether that be Coutinho or Jorginho Wijnaldum uh, or Arthur Melo, on a 6-month loan deal, and then examine examine the possibilities of getting in top young talent in the summer. Our transfer targets have never been our top priority transfer targets have never been Jorginho Wijnaldum and Arthur Melo. They've never been. But those you would call them a quick fix. You'd call them those kind of easy deals that Arsenal can actually do to solve the situation as we wait for the summer. And so the Athletic putting out this story that Bruno Guimaraes and Luis are admired very much at Arsenal. Arteta knows Luis during their time at Manchester City. I think, honestly, if you ask me the difference between Bruno Guimaraes and Luis, there's a thin line. There's a very, very, very thin line. And when it comes to Douglas Luiz, what I love about him is his ball distribution. What I hate about him is his being very, very casual. And it's one thing that I think football is trying to teach us, that maybe these kind of players like Jorginho, Douglas Luiz, maybe they've not been appreciated enough, through the years. Maybe, and that's why probably people like me don't appreciate them. But why I would love Bruno Guimaraes more is he would give me what Douglas Luiz gives me, like kind of game management, game control, and ball possession, thick lines of ball possession and thick percentages of ball possession. But he would do that extra kind of mile. He would go that kind of extra kind of mile to help out defensive wise, just like Douglas Luiz. But going forward, that is where the difference is. For me, Luiz is so casual. Bruno Guimaraes would be a better fit. But I understand the Athletic when they say these are deals that Arsenal know and they understand. It's not that easy to do them in January, and you would understand, right? The January transfer window, the market is so complicated. Douglas Luiz, even in the summer, by the way, I think Guimaraes would be an easier deal to do than Luiz, unless Steven Gerrard feels like Douglas Luiz is not the man for his project. But if at any point in time Steven Gerrard feels like Douglas Luiz is essential, they're not letting him go. They're not going to sell him. We know the kind of project they're running there at Everton. They're trying to bring in the likes of Bentancur. They're trying to, they've signed in the likes of Luka Digne. If you look at the quality they have, I've already said this right from the beginning of the season, and I still say it. The quality at Aston Villa is directly, you can easily compare the quality, you can easily compare it with the quality at Arsenal. And, many people have already said, Cossy, how can you compare us to Aston Villa? But if we went player by player, those, they have a very, very decent squad in there. Because for me, Emi Martinez, Ramsdale, despite the fact that we Arsenal fans do hype Ramsdale, those goalkeepers, would be at the same level, or you would think Martinez has that kind of extra experience and things like that. But at the moment, this season, it is Ramsdale. But both of them really, really goalkeepers. Not one of them is is very, very clear of the other. Right back, Cash. I'll definitely take Cash over Tomiyasu, because Cash has that ability to come forward and put in very, very decent crosses and affect the final third of the pitch. Luka Digne versus Tierney. I'm definitely going for Luka Digne there. The back line, Ezra Konsa and Mings. I'll trash them and go for Ben White and Gabriel. I liked Mings, but I was wrong about him. Ezra Konsa, I think he would be that good centre back if he gets someone who's a little bit better than Mings. But still, I don't think Ezra Konsa is better than Ben White. In terms of the midfield, Douglas Luiz as compared to Xhaka, I would go with Douglas Luiz. Honestly, then Partey. Obviously, I don't compare anyone, with Thomas Partey at Aston Villa. Sorry. On the forward line, Lacazette or Oli Watkins, I'd go with Oli Watkins. Buendia or Martinelli, I'd go with Buendia. Leon Bailey or Saka. It depends if Leon Bailey is really fit, I would go with Leon Bailey, but because of the lack of fitness, then I would go with Saka. So if we would do a combined 11, logically and objectively between those two clubs, Aston Villa and Arsenal, it's a 50-50. Yeah, it's a 50-50. We'll take the goalkeeper, we'll take two defenders, the fullbacks go to Aston Villa, then the pivot. We'll share the pivot, Partey and Douglas Luiz. Then up front there, you have Martinelli for me, who's a little bit, he's been shining more than. But they also have Coutinho in there, so you've got to ask yourself if Coutinho does any better than Coutinho or Odegaard. At the moment, it's Odegaard really. Jacob Ramsey or Odegaard. Again, it's a tight call. You can see, they're fine margins, aren't they? They're really, really, really fine margins. Because again, Jacob Ramsey has had a very, very interesting season. For them, Ramsey or Smith scored more goals this season. Arsenal's top scorer, but Ramsey has also had really, really very good, a very good season there. I think he scored 3 times now, 2 away from home and 1 at the Villa Park. So, lads, Douglas Luiz, difficult one. Bruno Guimaraes, easy one in the summer. Yeah, easy one in the summer. Leon will know. Leon know, and it's one thing that I know about Leon. They always know that it's not going to be forever. They don't keep players forever, and maybe that's it. But moving on to the other alternatives that the Athletic are reporting about is 22-year-old midfielder Tyler Adams. Now, they're saying RB Leipzig Tyler Adams was considered as a potential solution to the right-back position in the summer, but remained considerable interest in the 22-year-old as a midfielder. His athleticism and mobility would bring a stylistic variety to Arsenal's midfield. So I think Ainsley has left the club to Roma. I don't know if it's a plain loan deal. It's a plain loan deal, so Roma will not have an option or obligation to buy. That means if they want to buy him, they will need to come back to the negotiation table and table their interest. Tyler Adams is another player that has been really linked with Arsenal right from this. I don't think it's even this summer. I think it is last summer, but one. He's been closely linked because right from that period when Mikel Arteta decided that Hector Bellerin will be staying, for the previous campaign, it was a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk around Arsenal getting in a new right back, and Tyler Adams was one of them. But the Athletic are saying we are exploring him now as a midfielder, of course, based on the fact that we've signed in Tomiyasu. It really looks like we can only sign him as a midfielder. But you also bring that kind of versatility to the side that we lack at the moment. One thing, I didn't rate Ainsley, and I don't want to be a hypocrite and say, oh, I miss Ainsley. I don't miss him, honestly. I don't miss Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I don't miss him. But one thing that he brought onto the table that many Arsenal fans can't say no to was his versatility. I tried back in the midfield. Actually, he had the last time I remember a very, very classy performance from him. He was playing in that pivot with Albasam Lekonga against Watford when we beat Watford this season. He had a very, very fantastic game. And then he could play for you as a right wing back, as a left wing back, and he could do those things. Tyler Adams has got that ability. And the Athletic are saying Arsenal have not dried their interest in the 22-year-old player at the moment. And his athleticism and mobility would bring a stylistic variety to Arsenal. I think there are two words to quote there in that tweet from the Athletic. Athleticism and mobility. That is what we are looking for. Thank you. That's what we are looking for. See you later. All right? See you later. That is what Arsenal all along. That is what we are dying for. That is what we are looking for. We are looking for, we are looking for an athletic midfielder. We're looking for a mobile midfielder. I'm not looking, honestly. I'm not looking for another Granit Xhaka. We are not looking forward for it to sign again another Granit Xhaka, despite all whatever can be said, right? Despite all whatever can be said, we are not looking forward to getting in another we are not looking forward to getting in another Xhaka. We need someone a little bit more mobile. We need someone who's a little bit more, open to moving forward and doing those runs and and add some flair to it, right? And I think for me, Tyler Adams would, right? But not my first priority, really. It would be Bruno Guimaraes. He would be my first priority. Let's move on then, lads. Let's move on because, like I said, The Athletic put out a couple of tweets that we will actually have live streams out of these tweets. Because for me, I need to react in depth with in-depth analysis, try to look at the statistics, the facts about these players, and then show them to you. They've also said something about Ruben Neves. I'm excited. This is what they've said. Arsenal have a long-term Arsenal have long-term midfield targets. Ruben Neves was considered as a possible replacement of Granit Xhaka last summer. Not possible. Should have been. It should have happened. Should have happened because Ruben Neves, oh my God, what a classy midfielder. What a performance he put in that game against United. I'm still scratching my head. How much more would we get from Ruben Neves if he signed for Arsenal? Millions and millions of benefits. Sorry for interrupting you before I finish the tweet. Say, Ruben Neves was considered as a possible replacement for Granit Xhaka last summer, and his performances this season for Wolves have done little to dissuade the club of their interest, as per The Athletic. Interesting. Very, very interesting, right? Very, 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 very interesting. Because listen, lads, before we go ahead, we will have a call-in show. I'm going to be opening up the lines every day at 8 p.m. So let us have our shows at 8 p.m. Call-in show. You guys call in and we interact better. Call-in show, right? So I'll be speaking of around 30 minutes. Then as we read the comments, we also get you guys to call in and, we could form a panel. And if you want to, create content on this podcast, if you want to have your views anywhere, hit me up on Twitter. It is Cossy Arsenal. Just search for Cossy Arsenal. You'll be able to find me. It's not tweet, like DM me on Twitter, and I'll be able to find a space for you on the podcast. If you want to talk about transfers, I could give you an hour. I could give you all the time. I need to interact with you, lads. I really need to. But with Ruben Neves, lads, and we'll speak about him later. So let me not really duplicate and all these. Ruben Neves is the most underrated midfielder in the Premier League. Type yes if you agree with me. Type no if you disagree with me. Ruben Neves is the most underrated, classy midfielder in the Premier League. Because what doesn't he offer? Right? I love Yuri Tillemans. I am in love with Yuri Tillemans. You guys know that. And the Athletic have said we are also looking at Yuri as an option, right? But Tillemans there, lads. Tillemans is an attacking tiger. Ruben Neves is an all-round tiger. This lad, when it comes to tackles, when it comes to interceptions, when it comes to looking for those long balls, when it comes to shooting out of range, he's fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic. So the question for me, lads, would be then, can we get Ruben Neves in the summer? I think it will be a now or never. Let me just a moment, and I know we'll look at this, but Ruben Neves, just a moment. I love. I like to look at his contract. I don't know whether I can find that on because I always find that on transfer market. I wish I could just find that on transfer market. Because his contract, I'm very convinced that his contract is very close to running down. I think in the summer he'll be left with 1 year, 1 year on his contract. Let me verify that. If Arsenal can just pull this off, this is a very durable player. Very, very, very durable player. And I'm not going to give you my statistics before we reach that show. I'm not. I'm not going to give you all my statistics. But contract, where are you? Contract, where are you? Contract, where are you? Contract, where are you? It's all I want. I'm not really going to give you everything because we'll have a full show about him. But I just want to see when his contract runs down. Here we go. Transfer market. Okay. He's very young, born in 1997. Very, very young. Right? Very young. And the contract, why can't I find it? Okay. His contract runs down in 2024. 2024. Some more time, because that means in the summer of 2022, he'll be left with 2 more years on his contract. And last summer, he was valued at around 35 million euros. What an opportunity for Arsenal. And now his value for this season has actually increased to 40 million euros. I doubt Wolves will let him go without a fight. They'll be asking for around 45 million euros. And it is our bad. It is a bad. We could have signed him for a bargain. Because just imagine if we had that lad in the midfield. How beautiful would it look like? How glorious would our midfield really look like? But that's it from the Athletic. Any more stories that I've not really covered that I had prepared to share with you this morning? Not really. The rest of the stories I've gazetted for 99 Sport. Mikel Arteta is in the US for talks with Stan Kroenke, and he will fly to Dubai later. Memphis Depay is available. I don't see Arsenal going for Memphis Depay. No. So the rest of the content I've gazetted is for 99 Sport. I want to say thanks to everybody who joined me today and joined me yesterday on 99 Sport. It was really, really amazing. We had a very, very amazing show on there on 99 Sport. We discussed much about JOVIC and the other transfer situations around the transfer market. We talked about Lingard to Newcastle, and of course we'll have more transfer episodes on there. So do subscribe to 99 Sport. You know what 99 does? It gives me that opportunity to speak about to do more content around Arsenal and other clubs, right? So please do subscribe to 99 Sport. And of course, I can't leave without seeing what you people are saying in the chat. Cossy, continue to do your good job. My name is Adeni from USA. How do I contact you? Either by phone or IG or email address. Thank you so much. So by phone, email address. Should I use my email address? Should I use my phone? What is better? All right. Contact. I think contact me using my email address. It is in the description. Yeah. It's in the description. Contact me using my email address. It is in the description, so you can contact me. I think my contacts are also there in the description as well. So contact me. You could talk to me and we see what exactly is going on, right? So I'll be very, very glad to interact with you. And like I said, I want to do a couple of podcasts, especially with my big Arsenal fans. I would love to do a couple of podcasts, really. How are you? I'm doing very, very well, Edson. Hope you're doing well. Big up to Joseph as well. Genius. says Adeyemi is more of a prospect. But apart from how many players are we linked with, and they are not prospects? Most of them are really prospects, aren't they? Yeah, most of them are really prospects. Vlahovic is a prospect. Isak is a prospect. Jonathan David is a prospect. They're prospects. Yeah, they're prospects. If it was something like Haaland, someone like Haaland, you'd say, yeah, he's you know, it's. But Adeyemi is a prospect, huge prospect. Julian Alvarez is a prospect, huge prospect. And it reminds me of Carlos Tevez and Sergio Aguero. Maybe Arsenal need to do those kind of deals as well. Look at Martinelli. He's flying, isn't he? But if anyone said we should sign Martinelli in January, in this January, all of you would have said, no, because he's not there yet. So, I mean, all the players we're looking at are prospects, really. And there's nothing wrong with that, going for prospects. Jovic is good, but he is not that quick. Adeyemi is great. Cossy, do you think the Gunners will get a striker in January? If we try to do more doable deals, I'm not even going to be a liar. If we try to do more doable deals, yes. If we try to go for the difficult deals, I'm sorry, no. Victor Osimhen is a bowler. Osimhen is a very good player, but if you look at the amount at which Napoli signed him, Arsenal would have to break the bank. Yeah, Arsenal would really, really have to break the bank. But he's a top player, top player. Whoever said we should go for Osimhen is a true football person who knows who knows players. He is perfect for us. Osimhen is a good player. Victor Osimhen is a good player, but like I said, lots of money involved in that. Lots of money involved in that, and I think for Napoli this season, they can't let go of him in January, probably in the summer. Luka Jovic is a super striker compared to Dusan Vlahovic. They all play in the Serbian national team. Who is the starter there? I think with time to come, Vlahovic will be a starter if Jovic doesn't find his feet. We shouldn't put our hopes high because we shall get disappointed in the process. However, we badly need a creative midfielder plus a quality striker. Thank you so much, Keita. Paul says, hi, Cossy. Paul from Eminin, Kenya, currently in Rafiki Kabarak. I'm bored with this Arsenal, lies. I mean, it's boring with transfers, and I think it's one of the most difficult periods to handle as a content creator. Trust me, if I kept up in the morning and did my predicted lineup for the next fixture, did my confirmed team news, discussed Mikel Arteta's press conference, it is relieving because no one says, "Cossy, you're lying." But when it comes to transfers, it just paints that negative picture. But people love transfers. People need to hear the news. I'm sorry. We've got to talk about it. The story of Dusan is forgotten, or what's up? Dusan is now very, very close to joining. Very, very close to joining Juventus. Adeyemi is cheaper. Adeyemi is cheaper and good. Jonathan David should be the next Arsenal, next target after Vlahovic if Arsenal is serious about buying a striker, but not in January. Yeah, not in January. Chan says Karim Adeyemi. Adeyemi will not be that kind of 9. Adeyemi would not be that kind of 9. So I'm not recommending Karim Adeyemi as a 9. I'm recommending Karim Adeyemi as like you'd see Salah. Yeah, someone like a player like you would see Salah. That is why I'm recommending Karim Adeyemi. But if you want a 9, then Julian Alvarez would be the man. Dominic could be a player, but but he won't fit in our type of playing style and the club's ambition. Club's ambition, I don't know, but playing style, would he not? I don't know. Would he not? Let's go for Osimhen of Napoli and Jonathan for Lille or Watkins from Aston Villa. Very, very good targets. Not doable in January though, but very, very good targets. That's a very, very good eye there. Adeniyi. Did I hear Cossy say Arsenal's January transfer window strategy? Do we look like we are getting anywhere? We're just running around in circles. What, a ferret will. Look, I think I think there's been a strategy, and I still remember that kind of that professor. My professor was called, was called. I don't remember his English name, but it was called Atechereza, and he usually talked about strategies, planning, and things like that. And when I was in I think in my third year at university, I had taken sociology, and we talked about strategies. But the truth is, the reason that's why we have monitoring and evaluation is because strategies can be a success and they can also be a failure. So honestly, this one is this strategy really going to be a failure or a success? I can't say this because we have a couple of days to the window closing, and maybe Arsenal can snap out of it and do something sensible. I don't know. West Ham is also interested in Calvin in Calvert Lewin, and looking at the Arsenal approach to buying players, he will go to another club known to Arsenal. Fred says, thank you so much, Ray. Fred says, yes, I do agree. Jovic is not the one. Okay, that's you are replying to Chima. Chima was saying that Jovic is not the one. I think if you ask me, Jovic or no one else, Jovic. 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 Not in my mind. We should not get Jovic for the sake of getting a striker. That is not an upgrade. But I think Jovic, pay his wages. You've gotten a couple of wages off the books: Murray, Kolasinac, and Ainsley. So pay his wages and keep quiet. Hashtag keep quiet. Pay his wages, stay quiet, and see. I mean, it doesn't hurt to explore. It really doesn't hurt, unless it hurts, and I don't know. But I just feel like it doesn't hurt to explore, those moves. Good afternoon, Cossy. Do you think that Arsenal will sign any player in January? Yes, I'm still strong. I'm very, very strong on my points. We will see a signing this January. Okay. Let Arsenal get Lucas Jovic now, then get Calvert-Lewin in the summer. I've spoken about our transfer strategy, and someone told me, Cossy, do you think we even have a transfer strategy? But I think our strategy is getting temporary fixes in January, and then in the summer bring in permanent players. Christopher Chan says, I want Job. I says Jovic is great, but I want Adeyemi as a replacement for Aubameyang. For me, it would be a sensible transfer if Arsenal went for Adeyemi. Very, very sensible, and he's going to go to one of those clubs that I really, really like a lot, and I really rate a lot in terms of recruiting players and focusing and guiding them on the right path in their career. Cossy, is it 99 Sport or 99 Sport? It is 99 Sport with the number. It is not the word. It is not. I mean, it looks nice with the words, but it is 99 Sport with the numbers, two numbers, 99 Sport, right? 99 Sport. Yeah. Thank you so much, Adeyemi. Cannot see your contact, Cossy. Really? How come? My contacts must be in the chat. Unless, did I change them? No, I don't remember. No, look below. Try to look below. Please make sure you smash a like on the video. Thanks everybody for doing that. Make sure you do that. Okay. No, my contacts are there. Look in the description of the video. There is my email. There is my phone number on WhatsApp. There is my second channel. There is my Twitter handle. There is my Instagram handle as well. I think what is missing is my TikTok, but they are there. My contacts are there. So make sure you do, check me out on Twitter and Instagram as well. But of course, I think what is more important is the email address and the phone number in the description. Please make sure you do check that out. Right, lads. I'm gonna call this a show. Are they not going to pay for Torreira? So far, they don't do business with us. Hi, how is Arsenal transfers? Because I'm confused. I think it will be more clear in the coming hours, right? I think it's getting actually clearer after Vlahovic. The rumors are out of the way. Now we will focus on what we are able to do, right? We'll focus on that. But lads, thanks everybody for joining me. Please make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the damn thing as well. And I'll speak to you right in the next one. Anywhere you go,